Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining our webinar today. I see there are still attending joining, so let's wait for another 1-2 minutes, okay? Hello, Samuel. Yeah, I'd like to use this chance to share with you some of the tools you can use during the webinar. There on your login page, there is a Q&A tag or question tag. And if you have questions, please type your question there like anytime during like our presentation. And also like Samuel just used a chat module. So if you you have some feedbacks or you want to give some inputs to us, you can use the chat module to give us the inputs. Okay. So let's wait for another minute. Yeah. I see partners from Singapore and Malaysia mainly. I hope you guys are doing okay there. Just some updates about the situations in Taiwan. So yeah, it's getting stabilized. The people are back to work. We're still very cautious. We're wearing masks all the time. Yeah. So we were still not allowed to travel, like I think to the end of July or maybe later. I think this new lifestyle we're going to have, like, work on the internet with partners. Yeah. Okay. I think we can start. So hello everyone, thanks for joining me and Christine for today's webinar. It's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, so my name is Jason Lee. I think I met most of you in person already. I'm the business development manager from Optix APAC office. I based in Taiwan. Okay. So as usual, before we start, I like to give you some information. On our website, there is a news and event session. There's a news and event sessions. Yeah, if you go to the event calendar, you can see a list of webinars we are hosting. Some of them is purely about NX. Some of them are together with our technology partners like Vaxtor to share different use cases and integrations. Yeah, so, and some of the time zone is from Europe or North America. And if you find it not too comfortable for you, like for us in Asia, and you can go to our official YouTube channel, and we have recorded file about our webinars there. Okay. So here's today's agenda. So we are very happy that we invited Christine from Vaxtor, a very close partner of NX, to join us. So the agenda for today, at the beginning, I'll give a brief introduction about network optics. And our subject is about smart city today. So I will give examples about how we consider ourselves to give a platform approach to smart city applications. And later on, I'll give the main stage to Christine. She will share with us a lot of interesting information about their technology, about their use cases and references. Yeah. And at the end of my sessions and during different sessions in Christine's presentation, there will be Q&A. So please feel free, type as many questions as possible at the question sessions and we'll take care of it. Yeah. Also, we have a lot to share with you. So today is focused on smart city. And after that, tomorrow at 2 p.m., also Singapore, Malaysia time, we will be hosting another webinar. It's for smart CPO. Yeah, and Vaxtor and Christine herself also has extensive experience in this vertical. So she will share with us much more details about what things we need to pay attention to when we are designing the projects and what other technology we can utilize. Yeah. Okay, so don't worry about it. I won't be showing my faces to you all the time throughout the presentation. Yeah, so again, so very nice to meet you guys virtually on the internet. I'm Jason Lee, Business Development Manager from Optix. I'm based in Taiwan. So let's start it with today's agenda, okay? By Optix. Some information about our company. Our headquarters is in Burbank, California, which is just outside of Los Angeles. Other than our headquarters, we have several offices across the globe, including Moscow, Russia, which is our development center. I am from Taipei, Taiwan, our Taipei office. Also in Europe, we have an office in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. In Australia, we have a team right there located in Adelaide. We also have 2 sales offices in Europe, in Paris, France, and Barcelona, Spain. In Taipei office, now we have 7 staff here, including 2 sales manager, 2 support engineer, 1 pre-sales engineer, and 1 marketing manager. So if you're using our support tickets or using our community forum to interact with our developers or support engineers, they are basically located in California, Moscow, Taipei, Amsterdam, and Adelaide. So they're taking care of your questions, your requests, your requirements from 5 different time zones. I hope you find it responsive and helpful. And now we have around 90 staff employees in the company, and more than 65% are developers. They are in the development team, they are in the quality assurance team. Sales and marketing team members occupies around 15%, operations, including administrations, finance, about 8%. Our supporting also occupies about 12%. Like I said, there are post-sales engineer, support engineer, and pre-sales engineer. Yeah. So now we have 2 products. The first one is NX Witness, which is an enterprise level video management systems. So if you are a distributor, you are a reseller, system integrator, or end user, this is the main product you will be using. It's designed for surveillance industry, and it is built by NX Meta. And what is NX Meta? Start from the end of 2018, we did a very big revamp to our software, from the architecture, API, SDK, even to the interfaces. And ever since then, we come up with a new product line called NX Meta VMP, which stands for NX Meta Video Management Platform. So NX Meta, it's an open, extensible video management and development platform that is designed to help developers like Vaxtor to integrate their technology into NX Witness and all the other powered by NX ecosystem. So with this tool, our partners can very easily create their own works with NX product, like at API level or at SDK level. Yeah, so these are the 2 different products we have now for the surveillance industry and the core of the NX Witness, which is NX Meta VMP. As we mentioned on our website, we don't strive ourselves to become a VMS player in the market. We try to become the companies that can help our partner, no matter a channel partner or technology partner, to be video powered. Later on, I'll share some more examples with you about this. So let's kick into today's main topics, our platform approach to smart city applications. So I like to start with some of the technical challenges of smart city applications we met in projects. So the first one I would say is the heterogeneous network. So there's a wide variety of systems need to be integrated in a smart city. Like we listed here, smart sensors, IP-based video surveillance, intelligent traffic, smart grid, smart traffic light. There are so many systems in the cities. So they're basically running on different hardware platforms with different operating systems, and they require their own dependency and libraries in order to host the system. Other than those kind of hardware OS platform, there are so many different kind of endpoints that can be connected across fiber, across proprietary radio, cellular, like 4G, 5G, some of the location, even only GSM or 3G. In transportation industry, where I used to work for, it's even more dynamic. It's a combination of fiber, radio, and cellular. Depends on where the vehicle is. Yeah. The second one will be the fragmented legacy and new system. If we can build everything, every system in a smart city from ground zero, it would be much easier actually. However, in real case scenario, there are always legacy systems to be integrated, such as the analog system from different police stations, the traffic light controller, the street light controller, or the smart grid controller. The different legacy or new system, we need to integrate it together into a system. The third one, of course, is the cybersecurity. This is for sure an increasing threat in smart city deployments. So when everything's connected via LAN, WAN, or wireless LAN, or short-range radio like Zigbee or Bluetooth, we are enjoying the benefits of the integrated solution. However, at the same time, we are also exposing our systems to potential threats. So to build a platform, cybersecurity always have to come from the first concern. The last one, also the interesting one, is undefined and ever-changing requirements from the user. This is just the nature. Smart city applications is pretty new. We have some references in the world already, but it's still new compared to many of other vertical applications. There are new technology we can implement in smart city. Users have different requirements to fine-tune their work processes. So this is just the nature of the new new things for smart city application, a very comprehensive, sophisticated project. So being a platform, a video management platform, we have to be like openly capable for all kind of integration to meet with like adding new requirements in the future. So later on, I will share with you how we address these challenges from our software architecture, how we design our products, the concept, even our UI, UX, user experience, our approaches to integrations, and most importantly, how this affects the ROI and total cost of ownership to a user. All right. So start with the first one. So as I mentioned, it's a heterogeneous network environments, hardware environments in the market. So it's very important that NX Witness is very lightweight and it's cross-platform. We can run NX on almost all kind of hardware, no matter it's an x86 computer from Intel or AMD, or it's an ARM computer from Raspberry Pi, Banana Pi, or NVIDIA JSON model. Here, I'd like to give you a very quick example. For example, you can consider we have only one version of software. If it's a retail project, we have a Raspberry Pi running 4 channels of cameras on it. We use the same version. We did the project in Korea, the city called Secho. It's a Secho office project for the city surveillance. There are more than 2,500 cameras in the city, mainly connected via fiber. Some of them are connected via cellular. And altogether, our partner only utilize 3 physical server with Intel Xeon CPU and 44 virtual machine and running 44 NS server. Like right here, there are 2,568 cameras right here. So as you can see right here, we have cameras installed in the edge near the camera, we have server running in the virtual machine, and you can see the responsiveness of the videos working, like logging in, playback to see the live view. To do the failover in the data center across different virtual machine, by design, if the network is connectable, we can also fail over videos from the endpoints to the command center, like freely. Yeah. So this is very important that we can run the software on different architecture. We shouldn't ask the user or the SI to be worried about if this is compatible, if this is not compatible. The most important things is the open approach for the user to solve their issues. Yeah. Here, I also like to address NX Witness is very efficiently working. Why we can run so many virtual machines on a physical computer? Because NX doesn't require a lot of resources. For example, if we are running 128 1080p cameras, we actually only need a single core of i3 CPU. So we can run a lot of virtual machine in the physical server together with other analytics application at the same time. And then the next one, I would say compatibility with the video sources. It's not just only the IP cameras, even though NX can already discover 99% of the camera in the market via OnVIF or via native integration. Once we connect the cameras, two-way audio, PDZ, advanced PDZ, and for the popular brands, the in-camera analytics will automatically work with NX. But in smart cities, there are so many different kind of video sources. It might not be an IP camera. It could be a DVR. It could be an analog camera. Nowadays, it could be a wearable camera, an action camera, or a drone. So there are so many different video sources. Here, I'd like to share with you one example, like we make in the new our new version, which is we can import a virtual cameras into a VMS system. Meaning, if you have a wearable camera on the police officer and the camera is not capable of doing live streaming, then they can make the recording in the wearable camera. When they go back to the station, plug in the wearable camera to NX Witness and import all the video. And once the video are import to NX Witness VMS, then it's just like a live video. We can use our API or SDK to interact with those videos to do smart search, calendar search, or even integrate it with the video analytics for like post investigation, things like this. So there's a lot of ways to add in, video sources to NX Witness. Later on, it's also NX can basically integrate with almost anything. There are a lot of different APIs we can use. There are more than 5,000 of it. Basically, all the functions you see on NX client can be reachable, accessible by our API. We have different kind of SDK for different kind of purpose. For video analytics, there is a metadata SDK. For like not standard video source or source devices like GoPro web camera, we use our own video source SDK to develop the integration. If there are proprietary recording technology, for example, in the UK, they like to retain the video for more than 100 days. There are some specialized designed storage devices like Veracity. So we use our C++ storage SDK to integrate with them. In our coming version in July, we even build a Chromium browser inside NX Witness so that to create different kind of interesting integrations. So here I'd like to share with you some of the examples about the integrations. Yeah, me again. So the first one, I'd like to give you a very quick example. This tool is called IfTTT, which stands for if this then that. This is a web service on the internet, so you can use it as a platform to do integration. Like here, I'm using IfTTT to do integration to combine my Google Assistant in my cell phone and then to control my video management system, NX Witness. So it's not the real case scenario. Nobody wants to use a voice control to control your VMS. You'll be drinking water all the time. Here, I just want to give you an example how easy it is and how capable it is. You can create integration like this. So I just use the tool, connected with my Google account with Assistants. I added with a webhook. I key in NX server APIs right here. And after that comes the next video. I will send you the YouTube link for the video. So I just use my smartphone, I open Google Assistant, and I can talk to my smartphone. For example, now I'm talking 107. After I speak 107, the layout of 107 will pop up. Like now, 107, right here. And later on, I'll send another layout, for example, System K, then I will pop up another layout about for these users. If you're connected lighting with the I/O module or you connected audio to a IP camera, you can also use voice control to interact with the system like this. Yeah. Some deeper integration, for example, like here, we're showing using only the server API to integrate with our RFID-based access control, biometrics-based access control, air quality detection sensors right here, I/O module that is connected to a panic button, yep, and the parameter protection sensor devices right here. I won't go through too much detail, but only this one. So we can even connect a system like this. I connect the USB sensor to USB to a laptop. So if someone try to move my laptop, like here, there will be a alert from the laptop because there was a 5-volt connections between the laptop and the I/O module, and now the voltage is disappear. So the I/O module can detect that and very quickly use our server API to integrate with NX. Yeah, here's a quick example about it. Yeah. The last one I'd like to share with you, like this is our partner from the USA. So they heavily use our server API to do the integration. They use NX server on every buses to do video recording. They create their own customer-facing GUI for a bus, including GPS, gyro, accelerometer. They don't use NX client at all. They have their own client for their user, but they're using NX as the video source, as the media server to aggregate the data on the buses and interact with different sensors based on the events they predefined. Yeah, so deep integration like this is also possible to use. Later, about this too, later on I'll share with you more. And about this one is integration with Vaxtor. Christine will share with us more details about it. Yeah. And then NX Witness is very customizable. I like to use the opportunity to say like smart cities, there are different, like I said, there are surveillance, there are smart street light, there are smart grid, there are traffic monitoring, there are so many use cases. So different user logging have their different own purpose, their own requirements to find it. So we can customize the size of the string like very easily, but most importantly, I like to share with you how embedded browser to NX Witness can work together with the VMS system. So here are some of the examples. Okay, so the first one, I am embedding several browser applications into my NX Witness. Like at the left lower part, this is the PUB of Singapore website. So they have a interactive interface to show you where are those water sensors are located. If you click on the sensor, it shows you the water level. If you want to see the CCTV next to it, then you can see the video next to it. So we can build in it into NX Witness together to monitor with the live video threads right here. Above right here, this is an Oracle Online Analytics tool for data visualization. Here I just use an example like where people see UFO and Bigfoots in the USA. So you can see it's a very interactive data visualization tool for you to work with. So you find the location, find the hotspots. If you have a camera next to it, you can put it inside NX Witness directly. Yeah. At the same time, I'm running like the usual video surveillance things to monitor the traffic. And here I'm also running facial recognition at the same time. At the right-hand side, this is just a like control page of my home Wi-Fi AP. So if you have a Wi-Fi AP in the smart street light, then you can control it accordingly. Yeah. The next example is that this is our Taiwan government website for freeway. So it's also an interactive website where it shows you the traffic information at the different location on our highway. And here's also from our government to see the air quality across Taiwan. You can see most of the icons are green now because like the factory are working like much slower at the moment. So it's also interactive for you to see the informations about the air quality around your sites. Yeah. So if we put together into more comprehensive interfaces like this is the highway of the location. This is the air quality of the location. And if we have a zoom in camera on the highway to do facial recognition, we can easily integrate that with Vaxtor to see the information. If there is a street light right here, we can access the street light by the web console to control the street light, to see the voltage, to do the shift of the lighting by their power inputs. Yeah. So we can integrate easily like all this kind of web interface together with analytics, together with video sources at the same time. Yeah, here's just a quick example. Also, like Vaxtor has a module inside Axis camera. So we can also use our built-in browser very quickly. At camera setting, we can go into the Axis camera, configure the camera. And I like to show you this at the bottom. There is a Vaxtor module on the Axis camera. We can easily open the browser, start to manage the information inside the Axis Vaxtor modules. Yeah. So all these things are trying to make the user, make the SI to monitor, to manage all kind of information based on their requirements for this specific task. Yeah. And then I'd like to share with you is NX Witness is extremely dependable. Let's go back a little bit to the Korea case. So they install so many NX servers inside the virtual machine so that they can fail over to each other. Some of the camera at the seaport or on the outer islands are actually not inside the command center. They can also merge them into NX Witness. If some of the virtual machine or some of the physical server is not working, the system will automatically fail over to do continuous recording in other virtual machine or other physical server. If the network is connected properly, then we can also easily fail over a camera from a faraway side to do the internet failover to have the recording in the command centers. It's just by design to make the system much more dependable. And this one, I would say, it's very important that like in the smart city project in the control room, it's always a lot of things to handle. So VMS software, a platform solution has to respond very fast. So I would say for installation, for configuration, for these cases, it's not that critical because most of the time, staff for smart city project, they are technical capable. They are very good at this. So installing a project shouldn't be a problem. But how they interface with the incident, how they identify an incident is the critical points for a situation like that. So here I'd like to give you a quick example about how fast it is to use NX Witness. So I log into another site. This is our US headquarters. We have 3 different servers here, 2 in the USA, 1 in Taipei. I'm going to use this one as an example. So let me put up a fisheye cameras right here. Let me put up another camera at our entrance. Okay, let's do a fisheye zooming right here. So you see this door is this door. Okay, so we can do this example like there's a door to the meeting room. There is a door to our IT room. There's a door to our kitchen. Yeah, so let's focus on the front door. And then we start to do motion detection. I want to know when people come in, when people come out. So you can see right here, right after I select the area to see if there is a motion, I can change the location. Please pay attention to the red bar down here. It's about 5 months of a video archive to do motion detection. I'm in Taipei, the server is in USA. There's like some milliseconds of latency, but it's still really fast. Like within 1 second, we can do 1 year search of motion detections. And how it goes, like we can see like here is before movement control, meaning like many people come to office, and then start from middle of March, like there are less and less people come in. So if we are doing synchronized playbacks like this, I want to see what happens during this period of time. So I select the area. Hold on, zoom in a bit. So there's people coming in, like from the faraway view right here. After it played it, archive will jump over to the next sessions of motion detection, detect another person's right here, which is standing right here, right here. Move to another one. Yep. So you can see it's like there are some network latencies right here. Hold on. So when I click on the movement of here, it will very quickly synchronize on other channels at the same time. If I have more cameras at the same time, we can do more than 100 channels synchronized playback at the same time to see when something happens right here, we will see the results. It's for motion. At the same time, I'd like to share with you this example, how fast it is to interact with metadata. So this is integration with facial recognition. We can search for username right here, like this guy. He's from CK. Then we start to search Oscar, our sales director, to check his attendance at the booth. So we key in Oscar, we see all the result of Oscar. It's live, it's very fast. And then we can also search for other metadata, such as demographic informations about a user. I can key in a female, for example, and with a facial expression, which is happy. You can see while I'm keying, all the information are showing up very quickly with a snapshot at the right-hand side. So imagine it's a object classification module. User can start to use different metadata to key in. I'm looking for a red vehicle. I'm looking for a black van, things like that. Other than this, we can also do interactive search. For example, I'm searching for a female with facial expression that is happy and who appear in this area of the view, right here. So I select the area, and then we show only the result, which is we identify a female with a happy expression and show at the right-hand side of the CCTV cameras. So you can see not only the motion search, but also the interaction with analytics solution we interacted. It's really, really fast. Yeah. Dependable. Yeah. So the last one is, and this was save money across the board for the user with unmatched ROI. Why we say that? Because with the ability to run NX Witness on a cost-effective hardware, we can reduce the man hour for the setup. And it's like you see, it's very easy to operate. We have only one client for set up the system, to operate, to find the archive, to interact with different analytics solution. There's no like multiple clients for doing the setup, to doing the control, to do the playback, to do integration module. The more module you have, the more time you need to spend on training. We try to make a very concise interfaces to interact with very rich media via browser, via integration with access control, with different kind of applications like that. So before we move on to Christine Vaxtor sessions, I like to summarize by the next page. Here, I just want to let you know, for the integration, to create a customized project for smart city application, there are many tools from NX to use. Not only our video management software as the core. For that, we can use our API, our source SDK, meta data SDK, or storage SDK to interact with different kind of systems. Other than that, NX Witness can run on like regular Windows or Linux computer, and we are also so far the only enterprise VMS that can run on an NVIDIA Jetson AI computer, like TX1, TX2, or Xavier. It's been there on the market for more than 2 years, but it's really hard to make a software to run on their, I mean, VMS software to run on their AI computer, and we are apparently one of the partners of them. So in overall, this is the NX Server Hive, which manage all the data, all the video sources or other information sources from here, such as a DVR or MVR from the legacy system, analog camera from the legacy system connected to NX via a video encoder, or there are edge sites with NX server running on a low power CPU like Raspberry Pi or just an Atom computer, or like direct connections of IP camera or IO module via Unwave RTSP or native integration. We can extend the storage by adding NAS or IPSEN. We can configure a backup storage for critical information on NAS or IPSEN. If this is a proprietary storage technology, we have a storage SDK to do integrations for that. And if there are, sorry, I forgot to mention this part, there are some proprietary video source devices such as GoPro, wearable camera, action cam, or USB camera. We ourselves, we use our video source SDK to do the integration. If there are some other like different kind of video capturing devices, we can also use our video source SDK to interact with that. And then integration with different kind of system like pSIM, access control, perimeter intrusion detection, fleet management, building automation. We can utilize our server API or embedded the browser configuration clients into NX Witness to control it. With a video analytics solution like facial recognitions, ALPR, traffic analysis, retail analysis, or object classification projects solutions, we can also use our Meta SDK or server API, or even directly embedded browser, their browser inside NX, such as this one. This is a facial recognition partner from Australia, Neurovision. This is their browser interface for more in-depth information about their facial recognition result. This is another interface to manage their identification. This is a live video inside NX Witness doing integration with them via metadata SDK. So we can create a very comprehensive interfaces for the user based on the requirements and based on use cases. So yeah, that's basically what I want to share with you. So we are trying to be a very open platform solution in the market to integrate with different solutions with all the tools we can provide to you. And I will give the stage to Christine. She will be sharing with us about their technology, ALPR, OCR, traffic management, and some of the very interesting references in the market. Thank you. Christine?
Hi, thanks for sharing, Jason.
Hi,
thanks, guys. Yeah, hi. So I saw a lot of a familiar name and friends. Unlike Jason, in the past 2 months, because I'm stationed in Singapore, so Singapore right now is under circuit breaker. It's more like a partial shutdown. So I kind of forgot one of the essential skill, which is makeup. So please pardon me not to showing my face, if you don't mind. So let me just quickly share my screen so that you are aware what is the agenda for today. Okay, so let me see. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yeah, it's very clear on my side.
Okay, so basically you are able to see the all the so-called PowerPoint, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
it's very
nice.
comprehensive information.
Okay, good. Let me just try to. All right. Okay, so just to give everybody a quick overview, but before that, I would like to just ask for a favor from everybody. I saw there are already 29 participants on the floor. So if possible, please just throw your questions either at the Q&A session, or if you think it's too troublesome, you can just indicate at the chat group as well, up to you. So I will try to stop between sessions to address all your questions if possible. So that's the reason why your question will be very important in terms of, yeah, so I saw, okay, so this is from Jason to everybody. Okay, so I want to give everybody a quick overview. So today and tomorrow, I'm going to go through 2 main topics. Today we will be focused on smart city and smart traffic. And tomorrow, which is from here onwards, page 48 onwards, we will be focused on smart CPOP. So if you are interested in CPOP's case, I will encourage you to join me tomorrow afternoon, 2 p.m. Okay. So for today itself, a quick high-level overview. I will give you guys a quick introduction of Vaxtor, just a couple of pages. So then from there, a little bit touch on the product based information. I will be focused on the integration between Vaxtor and network Optix. From here onwards, there are some of the interesting smart traffic applications. So from 17 onwards actually are very important. So after that, we will talk about what are the feasible solution structure will be like. So something from extremely simple until something extremely complicated for smart city. Followed by that, this portion is also very interesting for you. This is a real case study. And I will be sharing what kind of deployment and what kind of report, what kind of value add we were getting. On top of that, this is a real case study between Vaxtor and the network Optix. Finally, the last part, I will be just touch on some other key project reference and also open the floor for Q&A. So that's a high level kind of structure. Without any further ado, I just start my first page now. Okay, I saw a lot of friends from the so-called participant list, and I even saw friends from India. Okay, so just hi to everybody. If you know about Vaxtor, so I probably just bear with me a little bit. For those new friends, just give you a quick overview. So Vaxtor basically is a Spanish base. Okay, so basically the R&D center, everything out from Spain. But however, our HQ actually is at the UK. Right now, we are having 4 offices globally. So we do have a dedicated regional office to cover US market. And myself, I'm so-called living in Singapore and cover the Asia Pacific market. Okay, a little bit more about Vaxtor. So basically, Vaxtor is a very niche and specialized player. So Vaxtor's expertise is OCR plus deep learning. So basically, anything relevant with traffic, anything relevant with OCR, optical character recognition, that kind of technology, that is our forte. Okay, so we do have all those kind of applications such as parking, access control, so on and so forth. However, today I will be focused on smart city or be specifically smart traffic application. Okay, just a little bit of Vaxtor itself. Vaxtor basically is not simply a license plate recognition solution provider. Vaxtor, more important, is an OCR engine provider. This makes Vaxtor hugely different from the rest of players in the market. The reason is because most of the ALPR players in the market, basically they OEM engine plus their own application, then launch the whole solution into the market. But because Vaxtor already an engine provider, right now we are already OEM on our engines to some so-called well-known brands in the market. So that's make Vaxtor is much more flexible and much more powerful in terms of localization. Okay, so just to give you a quick, okay, here perhaps I just to mention this particular clause, which is the software itself. Okay, all the software provided by Vaxtor are 100% so-called developed by Vaxtor. This is including both engine level and also application level. So that means we have a high capability to do minor tweak because for smart city, there are a lot of so-called specialized requirement. That is one of our strong suit as well. okay? And just to mention, I understand there are a lot of players in Malaysia. Actually, your guys have your own high technical capability. You can do your own programming. You can write your own integration code. Vaxtor has all the ready API, okay? Be engine level API or application level API. All the API are ready and it's a free of charge. So please do feel free to leverage all those advantages from Vaxtor, all right? So just quickly to showcase some of the past project, which is audited by some company before. And from here, I just want to highlight, right now we already have 191 country or regions of license plate has been fully supported, okay? It's not only country and also region. So be specifically for Asia Pacific region, following are those countries. So because today's crowd are mainly from Singapore and Malaysia. So Singapore, Malaysia are all on the list. And on top of that, maybe Thailand, I need to mention as well, because typically those 3 regions are cross-border. So if you are the Malaysia customer, even for Singapore customer, when you talk about the cross-border project, you can't only focus on your own country's license plate. You have to taking care of your neighbor's license plate as well. So for Vaxtor itself, one of the advantage of Vaxtor is that just one license, you are able to enjoy all the surrounding countries' so-called license plate grammar. So please take note on this. So again, please leverage on those advantages. Okay, so from here onwards, basically we're already done with the company-based introduction. Let me just move on to the product quick introduction, okay? So from the product quick introduction, we are going to quickly cover 3 different types of product introduction. Number 1 is license plate recognition relevant product range. And the number 2 is OCR, which is a container ID recognition product range. For this product range, I will be covered tomorrow under the Smart Support session. And number 3, there's so-called some other OCR projects, such as airplane ID rating and or the railway number rating. So for this particular type of project, because it's highly so-called subjected to the individual country's standard or individual company's standard. So as long as you have such OCR case, please just talk to us, then we can have a more in-depth discussion. So I won't highlight in detail for today, because today we're supposed to focus on smart city, okay? So let me get back to the license plate relevant product. Okay, fundamentally, this is a base product, which means we must have the license plate recognition module. Well, compared to the most of the players in the market, what Vaxtor is able to provide, which are multiple platforms for the user to choose. Okay, first of all, let's talk about H, which is the first one, Vax ALPR on-camera chipset. So right now, Vaxtor is considered, in APAC itself, basically we are the #1 recommended partner by Axis camera. So our software is able to running on Axis camera chipset itself from the APAC 5, 6, 7 range onwards. And I understand Axis is going to come up with APAC 8 very soon, and we are going to have a more deeper collaboration with Axis. Okay, so typically for on-cam, that kind of deployment is really great for large scale of deployment. So such as, for example, you have a smart city and it's a brand new area of the smart city. So whenever you have a new location you want to so-called add on with the intelligence license plate recognition function, you can just deploy a camera which is come with this particular feature, okay? But however, a lot of case is that customer may, for whatever reason, they are not affordable to use Axis camera sometimes, all right? So for those kind of case, then we always come back to this kind of option to customer. So those kind of cases, like if let's say you already have the existing camera, which is a non-Axis brand, what you can do is you just add a normal PC, which is preloaded with Vaxtor ALPR software, just to have a back-end so-called intelligence function. Okay, so this is the PC version. We do have recently we just have a new version, which is a Linux version of Vaxtor ALPR. Okay, why Linux version has a certain market demand right now? Okay, we understand that especially for smart city, there's a lot of case which is for the existing camera to be converted with multiple function. Okay, especially for example, illegal parking, that kind of situation, or maybe vehicle park at the bus lane, something like this. So basically, due to the network limitation, some of the area you need to have the H PC or the H server. So for that kind of case, a Linux base of operation system typically will be more stable and is able to suitable for small form factors of so-called hash environment. Okay. Another type of application, which is there are more and more so-called smart city project. They want to have a totally centralized back-end video analytics server. Okay, so when we talk about those back-end video analytics server, those are the very giant virtual machine. So when we talk about virtual machine, we are always running on, typically they prefer to running on Linux platform. So that's the reason why we have this particular version have been designed for those two type of deployment. It's either at the front end H server or at the back end, so-called your virtual machine. All right. So just to give you a little bit of options. Okay, here just to quickly mention some of the product, because later I will show you some of the demo video. We do have a dedicated relay module. Later I will elaborate more. In fact, we have a particular so-called the smart city project, the case study. I will share some detailed information. We also have a module which is able to capture the vehicles brand and color. And we already have a project deployed in Malaysia for which is utilize this particular function. On top of that, speed detection. Speed detection has become another very popular function for smart city over, especially for smart traffic violation, over speed or under speed on the highway. That's a very popular requirement. Okay, vehicle direction, that's something fundamental, so I won't mention much. Driver's face snapshot, okay, just a quick highlight. This is not a facial recognition function. Okay, the reason we have this particular module is just to provide a more so-called cost-effective method for the car park management or some of the company to quickly search out who was the last person to drive out which car. This is to cater for the car stealing case. So in case your car has been lost in a shopping mall itself, you can approach the so-called the security officer. They can search your license plate and the last person who drive out this particular car, the image will be recorded in the system. So it's mainly for that purpose instead of facial recognition. All right. Okay, so that's the basic product introduction. Let me just jump to this particular page. Okay, so whatever just now I mentioned, that was only for the so-called the front end engine. Okay, once the front engine is just like the radar. Radar is used to collect the data. How are we so-called process data, those data? How are we handle those data? In this case, we have two different platforms. Number one, which is Vaxtor's own application software called Helix. So Helix is the one that provided a lot of intelligence functions, such as traffic violation monitoring and also blacklist alert on top that is also function as a base data collection module. All right. However, Helix or Vaxtor's front-end engine, we only do one thing. We only collect metadata in terms of picture or text data ASCII code. Okay. However, for video itself, we are entirely leveraged on third-party video management software. In this case, it's a network Optix. So that's the reason why we have developed such a seamless integration with a network Optix. So let me just quickly show you some of the common application. Okay. So for this case, this is a typical setup. Okay, let me just pause this. So at the back end, actually, I'm running Vaxtor's license plate recognition module. So this module has already been so-called integrated with network Optix. So the objective is whenever there's a license plate being detected, it will be automatically pushed to network Optix, and the network Optix will be boom up a video accordingly. Okay, so here you go. So SKG5065M from Singapore. Okay, so this particular video will be automatically so-called boom up here. Okay, so once you have those boom up videos, the next thing you can do is you can, let me go to the next one. You can just directly search an interested license plate from any of the network Optix interface just to retrieve that particular moment of, okay, for example, from here, you just go to boom up log and just search the interested license plate. It can be full license plate search or fuzzy search, which means a partial search. Then you just retrieve that dedicated video. You can export that particular video out as the so-called further law enforcement evidence. Okay, so just to give you a quick overview of the fully integration function. Okay, on top of the basic video integration, what we can do at a deeper level, which is a blacklist integration and a whitelist integration. Okay, so blacklist integration, all those blacklists and the whitelist, it will be it has been pre-input at the Vaxtor software side, and we can push those data to network Optix. So if let's say we are having a blacklist vehicle approaching at a network Optix, what you can see is that you will see a red color of alert. So this is the indication you have a blacklist, and you also have an alarm message, and the coordinator video will be recorded. Okay, so this is for the blacklist kind of a triggering. While for the so-called whitelist, which is VIP, actually are something quite similar, but instead of the black, so instead of the red color kind of alert, we are having a green alert, and also whitelist indicator, and also the license plate number, all those details. Coordinator, so-called video recorded in the network Optix for the later further investigation or exporting. Okay, so all those integrations are fully integrated between network Optix and the Vaxtor. Okay, so far
Christine,
we have.
excuse me,
yes.
allow me to chime in a little bit. Yeah. So
Sure,
here,
sure.
here we see the example of the countries of the vehicle, the car plate. So if Helix also provide us the make and model of the vehicle, and we carry over by our integration, for example, on the street, we are not able to see the car plate, however, we can see the make and model of the vehicle. Then inside NX, we can also use, like I'm looking for a Ford, a van, or I'm looking for a sports car, things like this. All this kind of information carry over from Vaxtor. We can use multiple keyword search to narrow down the vehicle we are looking for. It's great we have the car plate, and furthermore, even though we don't have to update, we can also enable Vaxtor make and model module so that we can search multiple metadata to find the result. Yeah.
Thanks for the And for the additional, yes, you are right.
This one's really cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Because Vaxtor has this particular module, which is the make, model, and color, and all those metadata is already able to be passed down to the network optics. Unfortunately, we haven't get a chance to do a demo video. So yeah, so but the basically all those information are available. So which means to make your whole solution is more comprehensive and more seamless, and it's much more easier for the end user. You should leverage on those readily integrated features. All right?
Yep.
Okay, any other comments, Jason?
No, that's it. That's it. Thank you, Christine.
Okay, thanks very much. Yeah. Okay, before I move on to the next session, which is a solution application, I saw there's a question, right? Let me just get back to the Q&A session. Where's my Q&A session? Yeah, so somebody asked, can you share if any of the China and the Taiwan-based camera and the OEM Vaxtor OCI engine? Nope, unfortunately. So far, not yet, yeah. So mainly we work for Axis, Honeywell, and Pelco, those three brands. Well, for Chinese and the Taiwan, unfortunately, I do not have any info for now. Yeah, so hope you don't mind. Okay, so let me carry on the next. Okay, let me carry on the next slides. Okay, so from here onwards, we will be talking about the application. What kind of application? Like just now I mentioned, we have some kind of okay, we have those three types of typical application. Number one is a very basic access control. Number two, we typically will be using on highway, okay? And the number three will be using on the smart city, okay? Please allow me just to run through quickly some base so-called functionality just to show you some demo video. For the base access control, what I want to show you here actually is a capability to recognize the Malaysia license plate, okay? So Malaysian license plate and the Singapore license plate have its own localized character. For Malaysian license plate, other than the normal so-called format, basically Malaysia license plate has a lot of vanity plate or the customized plate. What we call, for example, Malaysia 2020, those kind of plate, or Putrajaya, those kind of plate. So right now we have already start to localize all those Malaysia special plate. So we will be doing this special plate database enhancement along the way, along the project. So our objective is to enrich and get the license plate database as comprehensive as possible, okay? So this is for the Malaysia license plate perspective. While for Singapore license plate, let me just quickly show you one of the Singapore license plate sample. Maybe I can use this one. Okay, so for Singapore license plate, the characteristic of a Singapore license plate is that Singapore license plate last character, there is a checksum functionality. Okay, Vaxtor already have built in this particular function. So that means when the number has been shown up, at the back engine, we already done the checksum algorithm calculation. So which means if let's say the last character doesn't fit that particular checksum calculation output, we won't consider that as a so-called legit Singapore license plate. Well, versus a lot of so-called ready ALPR engine, which is they never do the localization. They pretty much just grab whatever the camera can see and they just throw it out. So the accuracy rate is one of the key differentiation factor for Vaxtor's engine, especially for Singapore, Malaysia license plate recognition. Okay, so since I'm showing this particular video, I just quickly highlight this particular function, which is the brand, model, and the color function. We are doing, right now we are collecting a lot of mainly, okay, The mainly base data of the brand model color are from US, but we have done quite a couple of projects in Malaysia and also Singapore. So that's the reason why we are adding up all the database from Singapore and Malaysia local vehicles attribute. So if you are interested to explore this particular topic, we can discuss further. I just want to quickly show you. All right. So let me just see if there's anything I missed out. Okay. For the feed snapshot, I just quickly show to you in case you might be interested. Especially if let's say you are the Malaysia customer and maybe you're on, and also Singapore customer if possible, and maybe your application is for factory, is for condominium, right? So in Singapore, it's very popular. You are having condominium, that kind of request. Malaysia would be factory itself. So for example, you have one particular vehicle and reported there's a vehicle loss or has been stolen for whatever reason. From Vaxtor's application, from this Helix, we can attach the last driver out person's photo with that particular license plate. So once you have all those information, the next thing you can do is you can immediately add this particular license plate under the blacklist. So if let's say it's a huge factory, or you have a branch factory, or maybe I use a shopping mall, that kind of a scenario. So if I see the same vehicle go to another shopping mall under the same shopping mall chain, then immediately the software will be identify that particular case and pop up this blacklist alarm alert to indicate this particular vehicle has been added on the watch list. Okay. So this is a already complete solution has been developed for those kind of application. All right. So let's move on to the typical application for highway. So when we talk about highway, speed violation is one of the key information. Okay. So for Vaxtor's case, we have both instant speed and the average speed. But for highway application, smart city application, typically we use average speed. So for average speed itself, you need to have so-called a section of the highway. Then you have an entry ALPR camera and exit ALPR camera. And our software Helix is able to auto-calculate the speed used to travel that particular section of a highway. Just to give you a quick demonstration. So this vehicle go through entry camera and the same vehicle pass the exit camera. So during this period, quickly, the Helix is able to calculate the speed used to go through this particular section. Okay. So once you gather this particular speed information, the next thing you can do is that you can set the overspeed detection benchmark from Helix itself in order to capture overspeed, that kind of alert. Okay, so from Helix itself, you are able to pre-configure. Let me just go to, yeah, here. So you can pre-configure, you want to monitor speed alert, and the speed limit is 30 km/h, for example, in this case. So whenever you do have a vehicle passing by, and the so-called the speed, this one is 31, which is over 30, then you will have the highlight of that particular transaction. On top of that, you also have a so-called a speed alert notification from the software itself. Okay, so all those speed alert information can be downloaded and summarized and to create the speed violation report. Later, I will share the so-called the traffic violation report in detail in the case study session. All right. So this is a talk about speed scenario. Just now, I quickly highlight this make and model color. So maybe, okay, just to quickly show you here how you can utilize the vehicles so-called additional vehicle attribute information. Okay, so quickly from the Helix itself, you can search partial plate, okay, instead of the full plate, you can be partial fuzzy search and combine with the brand and also color. Okay, what kind of common scenario will this happen? Imagine if, let's say, during the smart city case, it's very common for the bystander to witness accident case, okay, maybe hit and run case. So for the witness to really review all those information, it's unlikely the witness is able to remember the full license plate information. But chances very high they do remember there's a black color Toyota, right? So if, let's say, they just glance 1 or 2 characters of the license plate itself, we can use fuzzy search, and instantly we are able to identify where is the latest location of this particular vehicle. So we can, from here, we got the full information and where did this particular vehicle has passing by. So the police is able to dispatch their officer just to pursue. Okay, so this is one of the very classic case for you to utilize the vehicle attribute together with license plate. Okay, so we just mentioned about the speed module. The next thing, maybe just quickly highlight this. A lot of smart traffic is involved of not just car, it's also involved of motorcycle. So motorcycle recognition is another challenge to measure how good is the ALPR engine, okay? So this is a project we have done in Vietnam, because Vietnam is considered one of the so-called, one of the highest motorcycle population, okay? And Vietnam is also carry the characteristic is like the street light is not as bright as Singapore, right? So I think maybe Malaysia has a better lighting condition at nighttime. So I want to share everybody an extreme case. It's like it's at the pitch black condition, and for Vaxtor to recognize multiple high-speed motorcycle at one go. So this is a smart city project in Vietnam at the District 7. The objective of the end user is to pre-record those blacklist motorcycle, because those motorcycle driver had a snatch record. So they want to pre-identify those motorcycle at a certain cross junction. Okay, so this is a quick overview. In future, if let's say your project involve of recognition both car and a motorcycle on the same lane, we need to discuss how to position and some of the technical tips. Okay, so just for your information. All right. Okay, I'm going to highlight 2 more demo video. Maybe let's use the onboard first. Okay, so before, okay, let me bring up this particular video. Okay, so before I'm showing the video, let me just quickly show you the concept of this kind of setup. So this is a mobile ALPR application. And right now we did have the live project in Singapore. Vaxtor is the provider for Singapore police force, over 400 police car with the so-called the mobile license plate recognition. So the concept is that on the car itself, they have 4 cameras to capture license plate front, back, or even at the side. And on top of that, in each particular police car, there is an in-vehicle video recorder. So this IVVR actually has been preloaded with a mini helix, and this mini helix will be used to detect the live blacklist record. So if this particular vehicle is a blacklist vehicle on the police centralized database, so whenever it appears under the radar of this police car, then instantly they will have a live pop-up, and the police officer will be pursued and stop for further investigation. So those kind of so-called application has become more and more popular. So I'm not sure Malaysia has those kind of needs or not. Here are the so-called some of the live video, demo video, which is a way we have conduct in Singapore's scenario. Okay, I want to highlight a couple of facts. Okay, number one, for those kind of environment, the so-called the license plate reading distance and also the angle plus the lighting and on top of that the vehicle speed, they are all different kind of challenging variables. So if let's say for the fixed ALPR, you are able to achieve 90, 95% that kind of accuracy rate, you probably have to minus 5 or 10 or even 15% kind of accuracy rate for mobile situation. Okay. Traditionally, a lot of those kind of solutions are supplied by European professional ALPR player. When I'm talking about professional ALPR player, that means those kind of so-called mobile camera, hardware mobile camera itself is in the ranging US dollar between 2,000 to 5,000, that kind of range for one camera. Okay, so well, for Vaxtor's case, for this particular project, we were using a normal IP surveillance camera, and it's a Taiwanese brand. Okay, in case just now one of the gentlemen asked, it's a using PC version, not on-cam version. So the idea is that the overall project total cost is only at a fraction of the traditional design. So but at the same time, we also deliver some kind of accuracy rate, which is reach the Singapore Police Force's benchmark. So that's the reason why we managed to get this particular project. In Malaysia context, I'm pretty sure you are sharing the similar kind of needs. So if you have that kind of requirement, we can discuss further and we can share more design details with you. Okay, so this is the mobile application. Let's talk about the red light. Okay, red light is one of the key application in terms of smart traffic violation. So I need to spend a little bit time to talk about this. All right, so you can see this is a red light violation case. So obviously this bus just running through this red light, and the license plate has been captured, which is indicated here. Okay, so in terms of functionality, is nothing so-called different. It's very normal. But the special part of this particular engine is that the setup is much more simpler and cheaper, for the reason that, first of all, in order to detect this particular vehicle's presence, we do not need to so-called embed the loop detector on the floor. Okay, so which means that we do not need to excavate the road itself, and we also do not need to get the special permit in order to so-called dig the road after working hour. Okay, that's number one. And number two, we do not need to get the red light signals the status directly from the red light controller. This is critical because whenever you need to link up to the existing red light, again, you need to do the excavation in terms of cable linkage, or you need to pay to the red light system integrator or contractor in order to subscribe the services. Okay, so all of those costs can only be replaced with just a couple of camera. Okay, so in order to get the red light status, you just need this one piece of environmental camera, and on top of that, for each individual link or every two link, you need a dedicated license plate recognition camera. So once you have all those information, this particular software, which is copies a computer vision functionality, is able to do the rules and the mix and match. All right. So later I will share with you one of the deployment of a red light violation at the Maldives Smart City project. So that could be quite interesting for you guys. All right. So this is for the red light portion, and let me just have a quick look. What is the Okay, so the next is the application. Before that, do we have any question? Okay, so how the performance during low light nighttime. So Vijay, you are talk about, Ryan is all features in Helix are available in NX VMS. Okay, right now for the NX VMS, the integration is at the engine level. However, we are planning for the second phase of integration, which is we're supposed to display the whatever the Helix function from the network optics interface itself. That is on the pipeline. Soon we shall be able to show some demo video. So hope I answer your question. If you have other questions, please do let me know. Okay, for Vision, you were saying how the performance during low light nighttime. So Vision, are you talking about license plate recognition, or you are talking about MMC, or you are talking about red light? Okay, for red light, okay, for red light itself, then that means we identify the red light status not only for the light color, we also look at the position of the red light. So if let's say you look at the red light alignment, it's not like the red light changing location, right? So it's always at the top. So basically we observe if it's nighttime, then if there's a so-called pixel change on the top red light in the location, then we consider that as a so-called red light indication. Otherwise, it's considered no red light. So it's an on-off kind of configuration. So I hope I answer your question. Okay. So if you have other questions, please do feel free to just to add on. Okay. So okay, there's another. Can you share if any of the China or Taiwan-based camera vendor OEM engine? I think I answered this.
We
right?
answered that already. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So, okay, sure. So I think that's all we have for now. Okay, yeah. So let me continue with the rest of the so-called smart traffic violation function. Okay. Just now I already demoed just showcase the so-called the speed alert. Just quickly get the second part to be done. So this is something pretty simple. So it's like once you have all the speeding case, and if let's say you want to gather all those data, what you can do is that you can do a quick speed search from Helix itself. Okay. Okay, yeah, it's loading. Okay, so which means from the speed, Helix speed criteria, I just indicate, for example, I want to search all the vehicle above 70 km/h, then I will have all the records here. So please pay attention to the bottom. Okay, let me just, oh, I cannot see. Okay, so basically here, it has been blocked. So here there is a download function. So which means all the transactions here, you can download into a .csv file. So once you have a .csv file, you pretty much can format into any kind of report you want. And also we have those kind of image. The image is not only the license plate cutout image. We also have the so-called the background image, something like this. So Helix has a ready API, so you can utilize those API and to call the respective image into your report transaction in order to customize whatever kind of a report format you want. Okay, so this is for the speed report generating that kind of requirement. Okay, illegal parking is considered pretty common. The application, it could be, for example, on the highway road shoulder. Highway road shoulder is typically considered illegal parking zone, or is only authorized for certain kind of a special case. So that's the reason why when any of the vehicle so-called running around that particular zone, Vaxtor shall just pop up an alarm alert. So this is just to show you how we can do the configuration. Let me just go quick on the configuration part. Okay, maybe I just highlight here. So this is the function which is the indicator is illegal parking alarm alert turn on. And this particular time is pretty useful. Okay, this is a grace period. You can, if let's say you place this as 0, that means it's immediate kind of alarm alert. But for some kind of scenario, such as, for example, airport, okay? Airport, you have a departure, arrival. So there's a lot of vehicle just go there. For example, it's a departure case. They are sending their guests there. So by right, they shall drop the gas, then leave. So we can give them about 5 to 15 minutes kind of a grace period. But if more than that, the same vehicle are still loitering during that particular area, that is considered a so-called illegal parking case. Then there's an alarm alert will be pop up. And also the details will be indicated in the transaction. And that individual transaction will be highlighted as a yellow color just to attract the operator's attention. Okay, so this is illegal parking. Vehicle wrong direction, I probably don't cover this because this is way too simple. So if you see the video, you will know yourself. So I won't waste everybody's time. Vehicle loitering and prowling, this could be interesting, and we have used this for our smart city project before. For example, just now we will talk about the airport case, right? So airport typically is considered one of the critical infrastructure. Or in Malaysia's case, I understand Malaysia, you have a lot of so-called unmanned power station, okay? Unmanned power station. So which means you probably have nobody there, but some so-called facility vehicle has to go there to do some basic service. So if let's say it's pretty common that some guys is try to either sabotage or steal case from the power station. So if let's say you install ALPR camera there, so whenever, because for those guys, once they approach, when they try to approach the power station, they typically drive car. So once the camera sees some kind of abnormal behavior, for example, if let's say one car appear more than 5 times within a day for one particular unmanned power station, that probably means they are doing site survey to try to steal something from the power station, right? So this case, then we just turn on the so-called the prowling or the loitering kind of alarm alert. Then we can program, for example, within 20 minutes or within 24 hours, then how many times, if let's say the vehicle appear, is considered abnormal kind of behavior. Okay, so this is for the demo purpose. We set 2 times within 20 minutes. Then whenever those kind of scenario happen, from Helix itself, there's an alarm alert just to, and we also have this particular transaction to attract the so-called operator's attention. Okay, so this is for the vehicle loitering function. Blacklist. Okay, blacklist is one of the most popular and the most useful, and pretty much all kind of a scenario you will be able to use it. Be it smart city, be it highway, be it event-based access control, shopping mall, so on and so forth. And for Vaxtor's case, you can create multiple different type of a blacklist. And with a different so-called special setting, for example, available time, and also some kind of exceptional scenario we can program, okay? So let me just go quick with the real case happen. If let's say you are having a blacklist happen, blacklist vehicle has been detected. So as usual, Helix will pop up alarm alert and also have the transaction highlight. Okay, so what I want to highlight is that, okay, whatever the blacklist pop up you see here are all happening at the back-end monitoring workstation. Okay, so it's a back-end officer However, in order for any of the security force or police officer to react as fast as possible, what you need to do is make sure those people are seeing those images as well. So how can you link all those blacklist information or alarm alert information at the edge level or at the so-called edge device? Those officers are able to see that. That is the next module, which is Helix push bullet mobile alert. So this is nothing fancy. Basically, we utilize a so-called apps called Push Bullet, which is a user can download from either iOS or Android, so-called Play Store, and they can install at their mobile apps. Okay. Then what we do basically, we link our Helix with that particular Push Bullet application through API key. So once we do the linkage, basically whatever the alarm pop-up happening at the Helix, the same information, okay, for example, this is the blacklist vehicle. So the same information will be pushed to your edge device, your mobile apps information interface, including both picture, detailed license plate number, location, time, and a zone, and how many times this particular so-called blacklist vehicle has been captured. Okay, so basically it's a pretty much complete solution for a lot of especially smart city application. Okay, so for counting wise, I probably highlight this particular function, which is what we call the highway occupancy status indicator indication. Okay, so the idea is that how can we use the ALPR camera as a counter? Okay, so once we use the ALPR as a counter, then we can monitor the highways traffic jam status before it happens. Okay, so for any session of the highway session, we pretty much pre-configure. If let's say that particular section of highway is being jammed, then how many vehicles typically will pack that particular section? Then we do have a max capacity. Then in that case, we do have the live, every time there is a license plate being detected in that particular session, then there's a +1 on the counter. If you can see the color indicator here is a green. However, whenever this particular counter is over 50% of the maximum capacity, the counter color has turned to yellow. And the same logic, whenever the counter has grown to 80%, the color will turn to red color. Yeah. So basically, the idea is like to give the monitoring officer a quick indication, the traffic congestion percentage, so that they are able to do some kind of traffic diversion measurement. Okay. So okay, one thing I want to highlight is that those functions are part of the Helix standard function, other than speeding. Yeah, other than speeding, yes. Let me see. Yes, other than speeding, the others are all the standard features. So, which means everything is already pre-built for a smart traffic application. So if let's say you already have the Helix, typically you need the Helix to collect the data. So why not to utilize all those rating information? Okay. So for the make model color function, perhaps I just show a nighttime performance just to give a quick overview. So this is a Singapore context highway. So because it's a nighttime, so we only capture brand model without the color. That's for the nighttime scenario. Okay. So so far for MMC, both Singapore and Malaysia are pretty accurate. So if you are interested, we can discuss in detail. Okay. Okay, so I already showed this, so I want to repeat again. Let me see what's next. Okay. Okay, so here I want to just quickly mention a little bit more because we do have a new feature has been developed. Okay, so basically, I went through the engine module, which is the ALPR engine side, and also the Helix application side. On top of that, recently we have a new module which is called Sanction. Okay, the sanction is mainly used to collect all those traffic violation metadata and to prepare it ready for violation ticket generating or violation report generating, which is we are ready to send to the third-party law enforcement software. Okay. Later at the case study page, I will share one of the report we prepared for the Maldives Smart City project. Okay. The next session is talk about the solution structure. Before that, let me just quickly check the Q&A. Okay, so.
Christine, allow me to chime in again.
Sure.
So while you are looking at the questions, I will in our coming V4.1 version, which is targeted to release in end of June or July, there will be a push notification to mobile functions, which means not only NX events, but also other like third-party analytics events that's integrated with NX will be able to be pushed to NX directly. So for example, we have the module for blacklist plus the number, then we can configure that in NX event rule. So once there is something happen detected by Vaxtor, we can send a call play and the related predefined information to our mobile phone with a snapshot. Yeah, so with other than push bullet, we can also utilize our native mobile applications for that. Yeah.
Okay, so we just asked one question is, do the authority accept this because in Malaysia as they need hardwire? I believe you are talking about red light detection, right? So if it's for red light detection perspective, yes, a lot of traditional way is all hardwire. So that's the reason why because the technology is keep on growing. So what we do is we share the live POC with them so that they are having some of a better idea. So the performance and also the expectation we're comparing to the hardware type of configuration. On top of that, okay, so if let's say we can work on this, because anyway we do have the ready site case study, so we can share all those details. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Hold on.
So I'll take the time to answer Sahar's questions. Do all these features can be integrated with NX? I mean the Helix feature. So I would say Helix has a very wide selections of API. So I believe like it can be integrated with NX. And based on our experience with video analytics solution, like their native applications can do a lot of let's say like data counting. Use cases to count the vehicle, for example, or the visualization parts of the information. So in those cases, user will preferably utilize Helix to interface with the system. However, alarm type informations, for example, red lights or dual time parking for too long, illegal parking, blacklist, VIP leaks, those kind of metadata information is not in the progress of managing the metadata, but it's like specific metadata or alerts or events. Those will be sent to NX, and then we can interact with those metadata. For example, red light alerts make a bookmark in the archive. For example, there's a due time for illegal parking for more than 20 minutes. So at the moment of the 20 minutes happens, Helix will send an alert to NX. So we'll catch the moments for live alerts or to play back the events. Or like the make model, Helix just keep on tagging all the metadata inside NX, and then we can search the make and model of the vehicle in NX. Yeah, but if we want to we want to utilize like combinations of metadata. For example, like how many times does this Ford vehicle shows up, then we will need to utilize Helix for that. Like in NX, we will not have the interface for this kind of comprehensive process-related management of the metadata. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for saving me here, because I was
No
having
problem.
some struggling over my background noise. Okay, just to settle my family business. Okay, all right. So let me back to office business. Okay, let me just keep on address all those questions. Vision, you were saying the wire thing. So basically, I guess we need to spend some time to prove to them this is a so-called a reliable solution. And it's most importantly, is a cost-effective solution. And more and more of other regions are start to deploy it. So as long as it makes sense to them, I believe they will adopt new technology. All right. So that's for the question. What camera used in night for moto, ALPR, and the car? Is it normal CCTV? Yes, it's a normal CCTV camera. Like for example, just now the Vietnam nighttime motorcycle, so-called the video. Actually, that is a very cost-effective brand of cameras from Taiwan, and one of the key component is the external IR illuminator, because at nighttime IR illuminator is still one of the important so-called accessories to enhance the contrast. Okay, so Ryan, can you share your actual use case that had been deployed in Malaysia? Yes, we do have a actual deploy case. Maybe at the end of this session, I will share a little bit more. Actually, it's indicated in my presentation slides. So can you just bear with me a little bit more? Then later I will share. Okay. And that's okay. What is the minimum spec to run Vaxtor on Linux Edge application? How many channels can they handle? Okay, for this one, typically we do have a certain calculation chart. So we do have, okay, for ALPR itself, we don't use a GPU at all. We just use a CPU. And the requirement is depend on your site scenario. So if let's say your site is a slow speed kind of scenario, let's say it's less than 20 kilometers per hour, then the typical idea is like per camera, perhaps you use half a core, that is more than sufficient. If let's say it's for high speed, yeah, half a core. So if let's say for the highway, that kind of scenario, then perhaps you need a little bit more engine. So perhaps per camera, you need one core as a benchmark. So the core and the threads are the logical threads are the most important so-called technical resources to run Vaxtor ALPR. Instead, we do not need to have a GPU for license plate recognition. Okay, we require GPU for MMC, make, model, and color. Okay, so depending on your project requirement, we can recommend different kind of a PC hardware sizing combination. Okay, I hope I answer your question. That's all. So thanks, Ryan. Okay, so
we have a lot of questions today.
That's good. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so I think so far we have answered all questions, and just keep on sending your questions in the Q&A session that we address later. Okay, let's come back to the presentation. The next session is talk about the solution structure. I won't go through too detail. I just quickly run through this thing so that you have a high level overview. What are the available structure you can utilize? Okay. So basic, this is a fundamental one. Okay, just quickly highlight, all right? So for access control, because I did came across some system integrator, especially new system integrator, doesn't have a CAPA experience. They always forget to include this loop detector. So for license plate recognition, what we can do is we use a license plate recognition as the verification credential, but the decision to so-called lower down to release this barrier is not only rely on license plate. You shall be rely on both license plate and also this loop detector. Okay, because loop detector is a safety device. So I just nagging a little bit here in case some of the SI have no such idea. Okay, so just quickly run through. Okay, this is one of the project just now I mentioned for Malaysia, one of the shopping mall project. So basically, it's utilize three type, pretty much all type of parameter. License plate to look at the vehicle's license, front end license plate, and we have another dedicated camera to look at the back view of the vehicle to collect the vehicle attribute, the brand, model, and color. And on top of that, we also have another dedicated camera to look at the driver's face, so that to prevent, to reduce the vehicle stealing case. All right, so later I will share the name of the project. This one I already go through, so no need to mention. Okay, so from here onwards, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those three are talk about the high level, so-called the solution structure. So how do we connect the front end engine to the back end helix? So the one tier structure is the most basic one. So it's like you have a small factory, okay? Then in that case, you just have two link or entry ALPR, two link exit ALPR, then just link all the video back to this PC. This PC has been preloaded with ALPR software and also Helix software for access control kind of configuration. Okay. Oh, by the way, I believe in today's crowd, we have a lot of access control specialist player. Okay. I want to highlight a couple of things. Number one, in Hong Kong, we have a project, which is we work together with access control, access card to have a so-called dual verification, okay, dual verification method. So both access card for the employee plus the valid license plate in order to raise the barrier, to open the barrier, okay. So if you want to build such a two-factor verification method for your own access control system, we can discuss about this, because Vaxtor has a ready API can integrate with your access control system. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is that for access control player, if let's say you would like to have parking, that kind of application, for example, parking payment, something like that, or payment apps, we are pretty much interested to explore that kind of partner. So if you have that kind of advantage, please do contact with me. I will be very, very happy to discuss with you, because I've been looking for this partner for the longest time. Okay, so just to broadcast a little bit of advertisement. All right, so two-tier structure system. Two-tier structure system, which means your project perhaps is considered mid-size. So I give an example. It's like you have a factory at 1, 2, 3 different locations, but you do have a HQ, so that you have a HQ to oversee all those information. But individual country, they only can see their own access control detail. So for those access control player, you are very familiar with those kind of concepts, because it's almost the same. The only difference is we use a vehicle as an access credential. Okay, three-tier solution. This is for even larger kind of deployment. So for example, it's a factory, but it's an overseas factory. All right. So for example, the HQ is at I don't know, maybe US. So then the APAC HQ is in Singapore. Then we probably have some of factory in Jurong. Then some, maybe, I don't know, some other places than factory. Then what the whole solution is able to provide is that for the US HQ, they can once a while remote logging into the Singapore HQ, APAC HQ. so that they have the view what's going on. They need to retrieve whatever information from here without to have a dedicated database here. All right. So it's a 3-tier kind of a structure. Okay. This one is pretty popular in a way. Is that for example, in Malaysia, you like just now I mentioned, let me use the power station case again, because it's pretty popular. In this kind of concept we were deploying in Australia. Australia is also used for power or for energy, that kind of company. So when you have a large remote places, okay, so some of the station, they have a manned station. Some of the station is unmanned station because it's too small. So for those kind of unmanned station too small, you deploy just one piece of ALPR camera with a built-in blacklist or whitelist to authorize the vehicle to go in. But for another larger site, you can have your dedicated, PC version. You can use a cheaper version of a camera, then with a PC version of Vaxtor ALPR with Helix. And everything can link back to a centralized Helix. So you can have those kind of mixed structure as well. Okay. So this is a typical scenario, which is okay, when your project has a little bit more of a security requirement, which is a field over redundancy, but this one is a one-to-one. So which means all those front-end edge device, all those metadata, they try to send to the primary one. If they can't, then they will try to send to the secondary, so-called the backup Helix. Then all those data will be further consolidated by a higher level of Helix server in order to consolidate all those data from primary and secondary. And they can have another client just to ad hoc to grab data from this particular Helix data server. Okay, so this is a one-to-one field over structure. This one is even more complicated. This is a smart city kind of a structure. So it's like the difference is that all the field level devices will be located at will be preloaded at a different workstation. So the key point of this particular structure is the N+1 kind of redundancy. So which means you are having a floating redundancy workstation. So this one will always be at the active standby mode. So anyone down, so this one will take over. Then this one will become the default running version. Then this one will back to the redundancy, floating redundancy workstation. Okay, so this is at the engine level kind of a redundancy. Same, they are going to try to push all the metadata to the primary Helix, secondary Helix. Okay. So, but for this one, we do not have, we shall have a centralized storage so that all B is at a primary application or secondary application, all the storage will be centralized shared here. Okay, then you can have the third tier, which is a remote access Helix client, or you can have a so-called local Helix from some other location. Okay, so it's pretty complex. I won't describe in detail. If you have a specific project, then we can discuss in detail, okay? So this is a typical scenario for red light violation, because red light is pretty unique, okay? So at each red light junction, you pretty much need a dedicated red light edge box, and you can preload it with the so-called the red light module. And the communication, because depending on different countries, the infrastructure, the red light might not have the ready fiber connection with the backend management software. So you probably have to rely on 3G or 4G. So for those cases, then we need to have a local Helix in order to keep the local data. So whenever the network is resumed back, then the local Helix will try to push the data to the centralized Helix again. Okay, so I just highlight some of the key points, so I won't go to detail. Okay, so we are going to the interesting case study session. Before that, let me just check out, do we have any question we need to answer? Okay, Mr. Ryan. So basically you mentioned, yes, we are access control player. Let's talk more in detail on the two-factor. Great, Ryan, I welcome you to reach out to me, okay? So, Parking payment also we are interested. Great, even better. I want to know who are you, right? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, no more questions so far. Okay, let's come back to the case study. Okay, case study, I want to share this particular project, which is a Maldives smart traffic solution we closed last year. Okay, a little bit background of this particular project. So basically, if you haven't been to Maldives, you should go because it's so pretty. It's an ideal honeymoon place, and I wish to go there for my. Unfortunately, I do not have a second honeymoon, but but if possible, everybody should go. Okay, so basically, it's just an island itself, and I heard it's going to sinking. So if you don't go now, you probably doesn't have a chance to go next time. Okay, hope it's not sinking that fast. Okay, back to the main topic. So basically, Maldives is like a couple of major islands. Okay, so this is one of the most relatively latest development island, because this is the airport area, and this island is their main their capital, Malay. So it's their so-called main residential area. So there's a highway between those two islands. It's about 7 kilometers. So actually, this is a bridge. It's a newly built up bridge. So the idea for this particular smart traffic solution mainly to deter traffic violation, especially speed violation, because there are a lot of those kind of death case already happened. On top of that, they also use this main traffic so-called path to collect the license plate database as a big data, so-called big data pool, data contribution point. Okay, so that's the reason why we deploy ALPR camera, over speed sensor camera. Actually, it's the same ALPR camera. And on top of that, because this is the airport section, so we do have a couple of so-called section, which is a come down to the main island. So the junction itself, we have deployed the red light violation system there. Okay, so just come back to the design. So this is the speed zone. So this is the highway itself. Okay, so along the highway, they do have the different lamp pole. So they install the camera on the lamp pole itself. Then the design concept is each link they have a dedicated camera, because they have a dedicated motorcycle link and also car link. Okay, so basically we utilize the same ALPR camera as the speed zone, the speed sensor zone, speed capturing sensor, entry sensor, exit sensor. We also use the same ALPR camera as a highway occupancy, the counting sensor. So we can know from Helix, we can know from this session, how is the traffic congestion level looks like. Okay, so so basically the idea is one ALPR camera working for multiple function. And from here onwards, actually this is the airport intersection area, this zone itself. So this is from the highway, and I try to go down to the, drive down to the airport direction. So this is a typical, for example, the red light point. Then we do have one particular camera look at the red light status. This is a red light environmental camera. And this one is an ALPR camera, which is just to cover one is here, two links over. They have two ALPR camera here to cover, to capture the red light running case. Okay, so okay, this is new information we just prepared for the Maldives Police Traffic Department. I want to share in detail because this is something very, very useful for smart traffic project. Okay, let me just bring. Why it's not popping up? Oh yeah, it's coming. Okay, all right. Okay. So one thing I want to highlight is that whenever there's a red light traffic violation case, okay, in this particular example, Vaxtor has this new function called sanction plugin. Okay, the functionality of this sanction plugin is that it allows the traffic officer to just quickly verify all the traffic violation alarm alert, which is sent by Helix. Once they approve, once they verify, then all those metadata will be exported into a proper ticketing system, violation ticketing system. For Maldives itself, because it's a pretty new system, so they do not have their ticketing system yet. So that's the reason why we are preparing this particular violation report, just for them to gather all those necessary information. I want to highlight this to you is because in future, when you talk to your so-called police or the traffic department, you will know what kind of metadata this system will pass to their ticketing system. Okay, each individual parameter are all extremely important. Okay, so I think case number, this is a pretty common, it's more like a reference number. License plate, this is also pretty common. Okay, I believe we have our friends from all the way from India, right? Which is Vaxtor's partner in India. You also participate in this particular conference call. So
yeah, there are.
Yeah, so in India, there are some local players. They also able to create similar type of report, but the information they provided are something more fundamental, such as license plate information and the violation notice date, which is the day and time, and also the violation location. Okay, so that's the basic information they provide. Then of course they do provide the traffic violation, so-called the scene photo. Okay, so that's the basic fundamental information. However, in order for the ticketing system to generate their complete ticketing report, they need more information such as, okay, for this case, you need to know who was the one to verify this particular report, because whenever the system capture each individual red light running case, it's not every case are all valid. I give a scenario is like, okay, it might not be very common, but sometimes red light system will have a glitch. Okay, so when red light have a glitch function, then the officer need to verify and to decide whether to send out this particular event as a genuine report or not. So that's the reason why we need somebody to accountable. So this number actually is the officer's ID number, so we can always trace back to this particular person. And the violation type, I think this is a pretty normal. It's a red light infraction. Violation detail description. So for this detail description, for red light is pretty much standard. But maybe, for example, for other violation, let's say speed violation, for different countries, you have a different speed kind of benchmark. So the description might be different. Okay, from here onwards is also pretty important, especially for the proper, the official so-called violation ticket. So from Vaxtor side, we can let customer to pre-build what kind of violation case, violate which rule, which article, which section, which subsection. So all those information will be directly pushed to the ticketing system and appear on the ticketing system. Okay, and the zoning is also another portion we can provide to the ticketing system. Location definitely. Okay, this is the offense date and time, and this is the violation notice date and time. So those two information are pretty important because typically this notice date will be involved over some kind of validity date. So which means that after certain validity date, if the person offender doesn't pay, then this will go to the court case. Okay, so okay, other information such as a driver license withdrawal. So there are certain preview cases, like in Singapore, if let's say you are driving P plate, then once you have a red light violation case, instantly your driver license will be withdrawn. So that kind of violation rule you can pre-build at the sanction module in order to export to the ticketing system. Okay, so for this case, this guy is not P-play. So for penalty money, we even can pre-input how much money can be deducted if, let's say, they valid this particular rule or this particular case, and how many points will be demerit, okay, how many points will be deducted, and any other remark, okay. So for this case, it's like if, let's say, you pay the money, you probably can keep the points, okay. So, but for different countries, you have different rule. Then together with a realizing background photo and also the corporate vehicles photo and so on and so forth. So this is just the event-based information, but it's not a proper ticketing system. I need to highlight this. This is not a proper ticketing system. Okay, for a proper ticketing system, you need important information, which is who is the driver and what is the driver's IC number, okay, and what is the security code, or does it have a so-called insurance code? You need to deduct certain kind of insurance money if it's necessary, okay, and some more complicated information can be all attached with their so-called driver register database, okay. So for that kind of information, Vaxtor system couldn't provide. So that's why we need to export all those raw data to the proper ticketing system so that they will be attached to their database to come up with a proper ticketing system, ticketing report, okay? So hope this could be useful for y'all if, let's say, you have such smart traffic system, okay? All right, okay, so these are the so these are the solutions. So basically, what kind of solution has been provided for this particular project? So this project, basically, we were using Axis camera, okay, and we use a mixed deployment, some on cam, some PC based, and basically we also use a blacklist matching, speed detection, wrong direction detection, and traffic congestion monitoring, red light running, and also loitering for the airport session, illegal parking at the airport session. So yeah, so it's pretty comprehensive. All right, so this is one of the case study which Vaxtor has been working with NX, but this one is for Vietnam. Okay. Puchong Group is one of the world's largest sports shoe OEM provider. Okay, so typically in the market, out of 10 brands, they provide the OEM sports shoe OEM for up to 9 brands. So probably you are wearing the shoes manufactured by them right now. Okay, so the idea is like basically they use a Vaxtor license plate as their workers morning and the evening access control or car attendance combined together, that kind of so-called device. Instead of they are so-called just let the workers to tag the car because that would be too slow. The problem or the challenge they are facing is that in the morning peak hour, let's say 15 minutes, they have to cater for up to 2,000 motorcycles to clear every day, be it a rainy day or normal day. Okay, so that's the reason why the clearance speed is one of the key for them to so-called verify the performance of the system. And on top of that, the accuracy rate level. We have done a little bit of localization for this particular project in order to cater for Vietnam motorcycles format requirement. So because we are the engine creator, so we are the engine provider, so we do have the capability. So end up for this particular project, the customer's acceptance test benchmark was 97%. So because we reached that, so our partner managed to get all 4 factories for under this particular group. Okay, so okay, so other project reference, let me just quickly mention. I already mentioned Singapore, I already mentioned Maldives, Vietnam. We also have a highway project in Vietnam. So basically it's used to gather the license plate information on the highway itself. It's more for database collection and work as a complementary system for RFID cards. Okay. Okay, this one I think y'all guys will probably will be very familiar with, right? For Malaysia partners. So this is a project we have been working. We are currently we supply Vaxtor for KLCC project. Okay, so basically it's a shopping mall application. And the application, the main objective is for a safe car park. Okay, it's not for payment, it's for safe car park. The reason was we understand that there was a lot of stealing case, vehicle stealing case, and also snatching case happening at the KLCC car park itself. So that's the reason why for the KLCC end user, their objective number one is to reduce the stealing case. That's the reason why the face snapshot function has been so-called provided to them in order for them to achieve this objective and not to spend too much to invest into the facial recognition engine, which is pretty costly for them. On top of that, we also deploy the MMC. The reason for MMC is because they can quickly, instantly to so-called to get the live view of that particular vehicle. And for the entire KLCC precinct, pretty much all the car park, they install this particular engine, so that if let's say for the same blacklist vehicle, if let's say try to come back to the car park itself, the security officer will have the pre-alert, then they can go just clamp that particular vehicle. So that just for further investigation. And for this particular project, we also deploy the field over structure because for KLCC, they do have a pretty high requirement in terms of the data redundancy. So I believe it's pretty seldom for ALPR system to have a data redundancy functionality unless they used to do so-called larger scale of smart city project. Okay, so that's a little bit background for this particular project. On top of that, for capital land, we also have some kind of a deployment, but capital land is a bit special, this deployment. So the use case is like this is for Singapore customer because you will be familiar with this end user. So this is to use for VIP lots. So basically we can, for capital land, they have dedicated lot only for VIP. So we have a dedicated camera just to look at those lots. So those, they pre-enter the VIP license plate number in the so-called the license plate database. So if any car not in the list, there will be an alarm alert. So the application is more for VIP lot and the loyalty program purpose. Okay. For this particular project, actually it's APAC England. This is Europe's largest so-called shopping mall. It's over 3,000 branch, if I'm not wrong. So the idea, actually is for Interpol. Interpol actually was the paymaster for this particular project. Interpol was using this particular shopping mall as a data collecting point, just to collect as much as possible of license plate data to form their big data so-called database pool. Okay, so it's a quite special project as well. I think I don't mention. I'm going to lose my voice. Okay, so guys, time for you to speak more. Maybe you want to ask some question if you want to. Let me see, do you have any other question? No?
Yeah, it's very, very informative information, Christine. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can share something about the PoChain project that my colleague Andy shared with me. So it was a very, very comprehensive and detailed POC and an on-site POC, like the workers riding to work, like they drive into the parking lot. They don't want to stop. They just want to ride in. So if I remember correctly, you guys need to have the right location to install the camera so that the play is recognized, and then the door will be open, the barrier will be open so that they can keep like a rather high speeds to rush into the parking lot. So it was a very critical POC. Yeah, because like you said, there are
yes.
more than thousands of staff going to work like in the short few tens or 30 minutes of time. So it has to be
Yeah,
very accurate and very fast. Yeah.
correct. So,
Yeah.
and for that particular, okay, actually Jason is talk about the Vietnam PoChain project. So
Yes.
another so-called objective for the end user to deploy that project, because it's a factory and they have a lot of workers. They have thousands of workers, and all the workers, they do not know each other. And they all ride their own bike. So it's very common. It's like somebody ride a new bike in, but their bike has been stolen. So so that's a reason why, okay. And then they stolen, how they steal the bike is that they swap the license plate. Okay, they can swap the license plate. But right, that's the reason why for this particular project, what they deploy, they use two-factor verification. They combine the access card and the license plate to go in and go out. So it must be the same combination. Okay, so you cannot be, I'm driving my own bike in, but when I drive Jason's so-called license plate out. You know, use together with my own employee ID card. So that's a wrong combination. So that's the reason why it's pretty interesting for that application.
They adapt very fast.
Yeah, correct.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. So any questions so far, guys? No?
Yeah, along the way, we have a lot of questions. I think this is the webinar we received the most questions so far. It's really, really good. Thank you guys for all the interactive feedbacks to this panel. It's really, really great. So I'd like to let you guys know, like I will paste again in the chat room tomorrow, 2 p.m. Singapore, Malaysia time. Christine and I will share another webinar sessions about smart seaports. So there's a lot of detailed information like Christine shared today, but it's all focused on seaports for container IDs and some of the scenarios they encountered before. It will be very helpful as well if you are doing on vertical or you are intent to talk to users from this field. I really, really encourage you to join us again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Singapore and Malaysia time, okay?
Yes, not just seaport, okay. Because recently logistic industry has been rising, okay, the demand has been rising. So a lot of logistic center start to facing more and more those kind of problem. One of the key problem is called misdelivery, and the misdelivery has a very high, very harsh consequence. Not just money can settle, it's violate law as well. So how can we use technology to address those questions? And all those kind of so-called logistics center, especially in Singapore and Malaysia, they have this immediate needs, but they do not have the solution yet. We have those kind of requests. We already deployed something in Singapore, and most of our logistics center projects are in Hong Kong. So Hong Kong has one of the largest so-called logistics center so-called population. So that's the reason why I suggest please join the session, and we can share more with you so that you can widen your target customer vertical. All right?
Yeah, that's great. So hopefully we'll see you guys again tomorrow at 2 p.m. online, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
So thank you, Christine. Thanks a lot. So I will meet you again tomorrow.
Yeah, see ya.
Okay.
Cheers. Bye.
Cheers. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for joining. Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.